The Veve gem economy is in deep trouble. Everyone can see it because prices for the less important but also for the grails in the Veve app are constantly plunging, and investors, the experienced ones as well as the not so experienced ones, are frustrated, are pausing their activities on the app, or have walked away already to maybe later come back. But I think it is very important to take a look at the situation right now, to evaluate what is really happening and how we can, as investors, react to it in an optimal way. Hey everyone, it's the Patient Hodler coming at you with another video, and in this one we are going to go over exactly all the mechanisms that are forming into the gem economy on the Veve app as we know them right now. We are going to outline all the reasons for why the prices are continuing to plunge and why all these big IPs on the Veve app cannot make prices go up and excite investors. And we are ultimately also going to outline what the risks, real risks for the whole project and for our investments are, and what bullish factors and outlooks we can derive from this current situation. So please bear with me because it's going to be very, very interesting. It's going to be hard, and you're going to be rewarded with a bullish outlook in the end of this very cloudy and more depressing outlook throughout this video. But before we start, please keep in mind that I'm a crypto and NFT investor and not your financial advisor, so please do your own research before you ape full degen into the Veve collectibles. And if you enjoy the amount of effort that I've put into this video, if you enjoy the type of content, then please consider dropping a like, subscribe to my channel, and let me know what you think about the current gem economy on the Veve app and the problems outlined here in the comments below. Tap the bell to always get notified whenever I upload a video or start a live stream. If you are looking for a non-free way to support my channel, there's also the super thanks button, the possibility to become a rare hodler by becoming a channel member or a Patreon. Links and buttons are below the video. And at this point, I also want to thank my rare hodlers, my subscribers to channel and Patreon, for always holding the line and for always supporting me on my journey. Thank you very much. This means a lot to me, and this video is especially for you guys. But with that out of the way, let's jump finally into the topic. So as you can see, no sky, no cornfield, strange cornfield. Actually, it's raining hard, so I have to do this from home. And with everything that I have put together here for you, it is really hard to do that in open air. So we have to look at the screen here. It is a lot. I feel like I might drop some very important information along the way, but I think I will get to cover most of it. Before we get to the hot point here, I want to thank some people here, because without their data, this video would be impossible. First of all, I want to thank Xavier Torres for providing me with a lot of information. Most of the ideas in this video are coming from him. He is one of the truth speakers, and yes, it can be annoying to read his rather bearish perspective all the time, but in my opinion, it's very important to follow him and to look at what he has to say, just to complement it as a more negative side and view onto your research. Also, I want to thank Pudding Cheeks for having that spreadsheet that we are going to need for this video up. So also make sure to follow Pudding Cheeks because he has always very good data for our cause here. And finally, I want to thank Kelly, aka Veve Fox, for the data that she pulls up for the activity within the market. So make sure to follow her on Twitter and on YouTube as well. Now that we have covered the most important influences here for the data, let's go on with the content. So before we can even outline any problems, we need to understand how the gem economy within the app works. And we know that when we upload fiat into a gem gets formed. The gem is the currency on the app, and this gem enables us to purchase and to sell collectibles on this app. And what is critical here and what we want to look at is what are the many ways that a gem can flow out of the app first. And for the sake of this video, I have just put one example of users purchasing the Boba Fett drop with 80 gems, which was the cost for this collectible. And we will see how the gem outflow works with a purchased Boba Fett right now. So let's say user 1 is participating in that Boba Fett drop and he spends the 80 gems that he might have uploaded to the app but could also already be sitting on them by flipping stuff around within the app. So he might actually not have uploaded these 80 gems. This distinction between right now uploaded gems and gems from flipping is very important for the course of this video. So let's say he participates in the drop, and that means the 80 gems go right away to the incinerator and are being cracked, disappear from the app, and is converted right away into $80 for Veve. It's not so important for this video right now that Veve might have to give a major share to the licensor that emitted this collectible on the Veve app, because this is not relevant for the gem economy at this point. Now the user gets the collectible for it. If we are looking now at the next example, this user seeks to flip this collectible. So we have seen that this user is right now with 0 gems and that 80 gems have been burned. The user 1 is now listing this collectible on the market for 200 gems because the drop has just happened and he wants to make a good profit. User 2 has missed out or has gotten a common, but this is an ultra rare, so he spends these 200 gems on the secondary market. What happens now is that because of the fee of 8.5%, 2.5% of which is a Veve fee and 6% is the Disney fee. So 8.5% of the gems are going out of the app, are being burned in this incinerator and converted into a cash out into dollars for Disney and Veve. So these 17 gems are only because of this one transaction are flowing out of the app right now. So user 2 gets the collectible and user 1 remains with 183 gems only, although he has listed the collectible for 200 gems and user 2 has only 100 gems left but is now sitting on the collectible. Now let's say user 2 now sees that there is a new drop announced and he needs gems, but he doesn't have money in the real world, so he needs to sell something off. So he thinks he made a bad deal with the Boba Fett, so he lists it for 165 and locks in minus 35 gems on his balance. But we see that this is happening frequently, so this example is actually a very common case. Now user 3 thinks, hey, 165 gems, which is the price point of Boba Fett Ultra Rare right now, is a very good deal, and he purchases it again. Again, we have an outflow, a burning of another 14 gems that are going to Veve and respectively Disney. So in this whole course of trading the collectibles around, 111 gems have been burned out of the system just by flipping that one collectible around. What's important now is that basically everyone in the app is sitting on less gems right now just because of trading that collectible around, if we consider that this is all done with gems that are right now in the gem stacks of these 3 users. Except user 2 that has actually made a profit. But in general, we have an outflow of gems here. Now keep in mind that this is happening all the time. While you are watching this video, there are multiple trades being made and multiple flips being made on the Veve app, which cause all the time gems flowing out of the system. The second part that we need to look at right now is the scarcity and the dilution of the specific drops. And for this example, I have compared 2 types of drops here. One is the Black Panther drop that we have seen in the beginning of the year. That was an edition size of 58,000 editions with 5 different rarities. And then we have also seen the Darth Vader drop that is only around 28,000 editions with 80 gems as a price point. Now you can see that the gems that have been sent right away into that incinerator are 2.9 million on one side and 2.2 million on the other side. But the edition size is very different. It's almost double for the Black Panther. So which means that in the end, a lot of these Black Panthers hit the secondary market, while not so many Darth Vaders are hitting the market. For the next step, we need the activity level of the users on these drops. And I want to pull up just the activity level of the last month, because I think for iconic drops like Black Panther and Vader, this will be more or less the activity number, because in the last month, we have seen some bigger drops like the Silver Surfer, so I guess that all the 110,000 people were active around these bigger drops. So let's just pull up these numbers, 110,000 users for both drops, which means that just by edition size, 52% of the people are able to hit the Black Panther drop and only 25% of the people are able to hit the Darth Vader drop. If we look at the activity level here, that means also that 48% will have missed the Black Panther drop and 75% will have missed the Darth Vader drop. Now we are going to consider for these drops that everyone has at least 50 gems or 80 gems depending on the drop ready to allocate, which means that they have either sold something off to get these 50 or 80 gems, or they have loaded up at least 50 or 80 gems, which means that the pre-drop loading stack is 5.5 million for the Black Panther drop and 8.8 million for the Darth Vader drop. And that results in a remaining gem stack after drop for everyone that missed the drop for 2.6 million and 6.6 million remaining gem stack. You can see already the difference between the two drops, although the gem level that has been sent to the Veve incinerator, the revenue that they made, is different. Now, what we can also say is that with 60,000 editions versus less than 30,000 editions, the market is less diluted on the Darth Vader drop. My point here is that whenever Veve is dropping these super high edition drops, they are not only sending a ton of gems to the incinerator, and the fact that there is a lot less gems as a remaining stack means also that this less purchasing power for the people is hitting a very high offering on the market for people that have had a higher success rate already, 52% in comparison to 25%, which results in less demand for the remaining or the flipped Black Panther drop. It is very important to keep in mind at this point in time, the edition sizes are not being determined by the licensor, but by the Veve team. And this is confirmed by David Yu on the channel of Randy Chavez, and I will play this video for you here. So listen carefully.
Part you guys can decide the mint numbers, and you guys can go and dictate. Okay, that's great. So even with Marvel and Disney, you guys say we're going to do this amount of mint numbers.
Yeah, we play the majority of that decision.
With the Vader, we have seen it was different. Only 25% of those people hit the drop. There was a lot of gems remaining, and we have seen that prices skyrocketed quickly. So the gems that were remaining and were not allocated in that drop have been spent on the secondary market to try to get one more of these collectibles, and at the same time that secondary market has not been diluted with so many editions of each rarity, and it was also less rarities. What we have to understand right now is that by high edition sizes, not only the secondary market gets diluted, but also at the drop there are many gems that could be investment mass for the secondary market are outflowing directly at the drop already to Veve and the licensors when spent on the drop, because 100% of gems are leaving the system. Which brings me to looking at the different channels here. So there's only one way to bring gems into the app at the moment, and that is dollars, fiat, converted into gem by using a credit card from mobile phone or web app. And we have no other way. So that's why I put a question mark at the Omi sign, because technically there would be a possibility to just convert Omi into gems and therefore open the floodgates to the crypto market to come into the app. But there are many channels to actually get gems out of the app. The secondary market fees, the primary market price at the drop, and the user cash out. Don't forget that with all this example of trading Boba Fett, there was user 2 actually making a profit in this trade. Now, if user 2 decides to cash out, also these gems are coming out of the app. And now, for really seeing the effect as proven math, we need to look at Pudding Cheek's spreadsheet. So if we're looking at the spreadsheet of Pudding Cheeks here, big shout out to him for putting up this great information, one thing stands out, and that is the total gem spent in store, which is the total of gems spent in the app, which is 240 million US dollars, which are the primary and the secondary fees together, the outflows that we have seen right now. So from everything, 240 million were actually outflowing of the app. Now, the total of gems purchased is $372 million of gems that have been purchased already. And in the app, only 132 million gems are remaining. So that means that everyone that is in the app theoretically has 132 million gems left over to purchase collectibles at this point in time. The problem here is that since the cash out, this number is probably even lower, which means that we cannot track the number of gems that has been broken by a cash out. This means that potentially less than 130 million US dollars or 132 million gems is still available to allocate within the more and more diluted secondary market. And also don't forget that there are always drops coming out at this point in time that also will remove gems from this overall stack. Now, from this data, there's only one thing that increased the total gem supply within the app without having a positive net outflow afterwards. And that is highly sought after big IP drops with a high price and a low edition size. So very scarce drops that are most wanted, so that a lot of people are loading up gems and only a couple of people are getting those drops. And we can see this within the spreadsheet whenever we have a green highlighted gem purchase amount. Now, the biggest and obvious question right now is, why does Veve let this happen? Isn't there a bigger interest for Veve in having the prices on the secondary market increasing? Isn't that just only an effect of the bear market? And in my opinion, the answer is no, it isn't. In my opinion, the answer is yes, there is a bear market and there is a loss of interest already. But there's also a very important reason for Veve to have the prices and the gem amount in the app reduced, because every outflow that goes to Veve or the licensors is revenue and a positive in the books of Veve. The problem is that if you look at the left side of this channel chart, we have the smartphone app, and every gem upload that came in the past 1.5 years from the smartphone app is a net minus 30% in the books of Veve. So these 30% have to be recovered by iterations in the market. So whenever 100 gems are loaded up by smartphone, and until this point, even with the web app coming out, this is still the case. People, including me, have loaded up, sometimes because we forget, from the Veve app, from the smartphone, via the Apple App Store or the Play Store, and therefore there is a 30% fee on this cash upload, which means that for every 100 gems that we are loading up, Veve has to top up 30 gems or $30. So for every $100 that we put up on Veve, only $70 are actually arriving on Veve, which is why the cash out fee for users is already 10%. So that is a remaining 20% in the books of Veve that they have to top up, and at least you have, if you want to take profits on a collectible, you at least have to purchase it one time and you at least have to sell it one time, which brings that ratio down a little more. I mean, you can do the math with the 2.5% that actually ends up for Veve. That is another 17.5% that they have to top up still. Now, how does that work? That means every collectible needs to have many iterations on the market to bring this percentage down to zero so that Veve can actually make revenue because of this. Now, the strategy, in my opinion, that Veve played was that at first they didn't want to have cash out so that items on the market are circling around and create these extra fees that bring the whole percentage down. The second problem that they had was that approximately $8 million have been stolen in that gem supply that come on top what Veve has to pay. And we cannot be angry here in that sense, because ultimately we need Veve to make revenue so that the whole project can succeed and that the project can make us rich, wealthy, or whatever. But right now we have to at least consider that it is for the moment in the best interest of Veve to have the prices of the collectibles going lower and lower, because then people cannot pull up such an immense amount of gems that they would then cash out with only a 10% fee, which still means that Veve has to put the 17.5% on top if collectibles were bought or not. So in my opinion, this also stands for a big vulnerability, because Veve is suddenly attackable. As a competitor, as a big whale player that wants to harm Veve, I can constantly load up gems through the app that makes only 70% arrive, and then I can cash it out, and this whole attack just costs me a little fee and a 10% cash out fee. If I cash it out, then I will put a 20% harm on Veve. So in my opinion, this could be even dangerous. So I understand that Veve wants to put a limit to this. Yes, obviously there is still a 600 gem upload limit on the Veve app, but the risk is still there. You understand? There is another very important factor to keep in mind, and that is that David Yu said in an AMA that they want to get rid of preloading gems to purchase collectibles. And in my opinion, this is exactly because of the weakness I've mentioned before, so that no one can just load up gems and then use the cash out to harm the Veve economy. So all in all, what we can at least point out right now is that Veve has an interest in these lower prices for the time being, but not forever. And this is a very big balance act, because Veve is actually maneuvering themselves into a deadlock right now. And this deadlock looks as follows. Because the prices in the secondary market are so low, and people see that when they purchase something on the drop, it gets sold lower in the secondary market, they do not participate in the drops anymore. This lower participation in the drops forces Veve to put down the edition sizes, and with the less and less gem amount and supply in the app, the prices are still dropping in the secondary market, which means that flippers, investors, and everyone else doesn't make money anymore. They do not see, even if they wouldn't even thinking about flipping and paying out, it's still a psychological effect if your whole vault loses 10% value every day. So people do not want to participate anymore until they see the prices going up. That also means that they do not purchase stuff on the secondary anymore, which is a problem, because then prices drop lower and lower, and now we are in a death spiral that will only end when prices are so low that either the project has failed or someone cleans up all the floors and suddenly people realize what's happening, but then still the gem supply isn't there. So there's only one method that we can derive from Puddingcheek's chart. As we've seen, if there's a big IP drop with a very scarce supply and a very high interest to get it, it kickstarts the market again. So what Veve needs to do, in my opinion, is they need to fire with high IP, very scarce drop into the market to kickstart it again, because people need to see that they can make money even in a bear market, which then will cause everything to rise again. Now, there is the point that even the Veve team said, Veve is a collector's app, you should only collect what you like. The problem here, in my opinion, is every collector is an investor. No one collects stuff that is useless and has no value, because then there is no point in showing off the collection. Have you ever seen someone collecting sand? Yeah, it's not scarce, it's not valuable, it's everywhere, it's annoying and not beautiful. So what do we need for collectors? We need something valuable, and the collections need to go up in value, in my opinion. So Veve needs to appeal to the collector and benefit the investor at the same time, because they are the same people. A collector is an investor, and an investor most of the times turns into a collector. I have come to that app as an investor. Right now, I have several pieces in my collection that I will not let go because I became a collector. I want to do both on this app, but I'm not willing to collect and see the prices going lower and lower and lower. So I feel that everyone thinks like I do. So that means we need a turnaround. So for this turnaround to happen, Veve needs to be able to make money, make revenue, to be able to build and grow and thrive, which we all want, by putting out these drops. I don't know if it's the right time. I'm sure they know it somehow. Low edition sizes, high prices, and high demand because of the strong IP. Veve is absolutely capable of doing this, and I think Veve knows that they can kickstart this market again whenever they want it. And this is one of the most bullish factors, because you have to see, this is probably the only NFT project in the world that is still, with these conditions, selling out most of their drops at high price points, and whenever they want, they can kickstart their secondary market to new rising prices into a bull run. They don't even need a crypto bull run to make it happen. They just need to turn around the market with these measures. My personal thought is that they want to grow the secondary market, then kickstart it again by using exactly that strategy, and then benefit only off of those fees already in the same manner that they do right now with the drops, because with the increasing supply of collectibles, it becomes a money-making machinery. So that, in my opinion, is what they are going to do. And this is important for our strategy, because that means until they do, prices are going to slowly decline. The overall gem supply in the app will decline, and therefore everything, including the grails, including the partner statues, will just have a little trickling effect down until there is the turnaround. And every bigger drop, like Dragon Ball, like Pokemon, like Naruto, or whatever other thing, like a cooperation with Niantic or with Epic Games, which is Fortnite, can put out this turnaround. The introduction of MCP, the introduction of OUP, or new inflow channels for money, everything of this can trigger this turnaround. For now, you have basically a guarantee until one of these catalysts kick in that you will see lower prices every day, which means this is buying season, not selling season. What do you guys think needs to be done about the gem economy in the Veve app, or is there nothing to be done at all? Let me know in the comments below what you think about all of this. And if you think about something that I have not covered in this video, or you think that I am wrong in a specific way, please let me also know in the comments below, because ultimately what we want to get here is the best possible information to make our investments successful. And with that said, wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon, and see you in the next video.